All right, everybody, we got Daniel Suárez, this week's race winner on the Dale Jr. Download. Daniel, incredible drive. I said on social media, man, the mental gymnastics and decision making and processing, mental processing that goes on, not only in that last moment or that last few laps, but the entire race. Have you ever been more challenged mentally as a driver? It's a chess match every corner.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate you. But let me tell you, that race was, I don't know why, but it was different. It's not the first time that we have raced in Atlanta with this package. It's been already, a handful of races there. But this race, for some reason, the intensity, it was so different. As some of the rules changed a little bit with the geo of these cars in this package. And I think it created this kind of racing that it just gave us more confidence to push around a little bit more. And I'm not saying that we're very, confident with the handling of our race cars, because a lot of people was struggling, including myself at one point. But the intensity of the race in every single stage was pretty high. Like, I'm honestly very surprised we didn't wreck more often because it was very, very intense racing from start to finish.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the drivers and watching the race myself. You could tell that you had to be really careful what the situations you put yourself in aerodynamically. You didn't know what the cars in front of you were going to do as far as what line they would choose. You didn't know how that might affect your car, and also cars being around you on your door, right behind you. How difficult is that? Because we watched the runs, we watched the passes, the side-by-side and the crashes and all that, and it looked amazing, but you really did have to be careful about how you trailed the car in front of you most particularly, so that you didn't lose the nose or slide up into the car in the outside groove. How challenging was that?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. These cars, they just react in ways similar to the cars that already you race with us in the Cup Series, but in some other instances they also react very different. Like, for example, the move that so many drivers were doing, including myself, to go three wide top and get in somebody's right rear. Well, that's a very, 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 very good move, but also if you get to a spot where you are not far ahead enough, the car that is behind, the car that is making the move, gets extremely free, and all that is error. So just situations like that, already looking for error a little bit. The racetrack is fairly narrow. Like, I just can't believe at one point we're four wide. When I thought we were gonna wreck, I actually start checking out a lot. I mean, I was just waiting for the wreck, and it didn't happen. So, honestly, big credit to every single driver, just to keep the cars going straight for that long, because I know, there were a lot of cars with contact, including myself. I got a little bit of contact in the incident in lap number two, but overall, I felt that for the kind of racing that we experienced, we didn't have a lot of accidents. That's my perspective. But yeah, the cars were easy to drive, and I thought that for the kind of race intensity that we were having, I thought we were going to be wrecking every 20 laps.
Yeah. So the drivers, there was a lot of concern and probably well-deserved concern when they talked about reconfiguring Atlanta. Everybody loves that old surface that we used to have there. But we're 2.5 years in, or beyond 2 years. I heard a lot of drivers say they had fun. They had a lot of fun. They don't want to do that every week, but they certainly did have more fun, I think, than they anticipated. Is that something you think that was pretty widespread in the industry? Did every driver out there really have a good time?
Honestly, man, I really enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's not a super speedway, but it's not a mile and a half. It's a truly a hybrid. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it drives a little bit like a super speedway, but the distance and the space that you have is not like Daytona and it's not like Talladega. So everything happens so quick, and the runs that you get, oh my God, I mean the runs are huge. They are sometimes they are way too big, and the reason of that is I think it's just because everything is narrow. I was explaining to a friend the other day. It's like comparing Dover and Bristol. And Dover being the super speedway and Bristol being the craziness. I think
Yeah.
that's Atlanta.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the all Atlanta was a lot of fun as a race car driver because it was a challenge. I mean, you experienced that one. It was a challenge. It was difficult. You were sideways. You had to manage your tires. It was great, great feeling to drive the all Atlanta. But this one is so different, and it creates such a good racing product that I enjoy it, honestly. I wouldn't mind to have a second Atlanta, honestly. Like, I mean, I know we have a second Atlanta, but another
Yeah.
racetrack this kind, because I felt that it's not super speedway, but it's not a mile and a half. So this kind of hybrid, actually, I think that it produced amazing racing. I mean, all I have seen, maybe I'm a little biased already because I ended up winning the race, but all I have seen from friends and social media and stuff is that people just love the racing, love the intensity. And in reality, we're going to go to Las Vegas and the racing is going to be amazing, but the intensity won't be as high as it was a few days ago.
That's a great point. That is a great point. I agree with you. I could see Marcus considering, moving Texas in this direction. There's been some considerations around Texas reconfiguring, but he's kind of been patient about that, waiting to see this current surface and as it ages, whether Texas will provide the type of racing we're looking for. But I want to move on and ask you. You made a crew chief change in the off season. I think that anytime that I had a crew chief change, those aren't easy to do. You had a great relationship with Travis Mack, who was your crew chief for the last year or two, but there is always this idea that the new guy's going to come in. He's going to, we're going to take what we have and we're trying to make it better. There's going to, I'm hoping to feel when I drive the car an improvement, a change, a difference, something. The communication is going to be different. You're hoping that this is going to work out. So you're a couple races in. I know it's only Daytona and Atlanta, but how do you feel about that change so far?
Yeah, listen, you know this because already you also have a great relationship with Travis. It was very difficult. It was very difficult because Travis was not just my teammate, but he was also my friend, and he is still my friend. And I care about him. I care about his family. We're good friends, not just on the racetrack, but also outside the racetrack. Um, but the reality is that last year we just did not perform the way that we were wanting to perform, and I'm not blaming on him, but we didn't have a solution. We didn't have a plan. We didn't know how we're gonna fix it. We were heading into December, and the team was almost exactly the same than 2023, and that was concerning because already the entire team, Trackhouse, everyone is pushing to trying to get more results because on the other side, Ross and the one team, they are doing a great job. And the 99, honestly, in the last 2 years has learned so much from the one team because the one team is pretty solid. So I start getting pressure. Everyone start getting pressure. Sponsors start putting pressure. Hey, what's going on? Why you guys are not winning like the one is doing? And it really put us in a corner where we needed to do something. And Matt Sudarsky, well known as a Squid, he came available, and I didn't know a Squid. I have had maybe one conversation with him before December, and everyone had very very high comments about him, how smart he is, how he was gonna be able maybe to bring a change to the group. And so far, honestly, like you mentioned, we have had a couple races in super speedway style, but he has brought a different dynamic to the team. He's a different guy. He's different. He's very quiet. Travis was the opposite. He was very outspoken, which I love that. Squid is very very quiet. He's very engineer driven. but he's very smart, extremely smart, and also he's very, very well prepared. I am actually impressed how well prepared he is heading into the races. How much knowledge he has heading into the races. He feeds me a lot of that information, and so far, honestly, things are going very, very well. And also, we put a lot of work in the off season. In the off season, we got busy working to trying to build this chemistry because we didn't want to spend 6 months trying to build this communication. And as you know, my English and my understanding is not is not normal. So I had to make sure that we're building this relationship.
You have spent the last couple of years as a driver who, is grinding and working to make the playoffs. The whole year, the whole regular season is this massive effort to find your way into that group. You and a lot of teams are often, sort of in that category, either in the top 16 or on the fringes of that, working all year long. This year, you're 2 races in, you have a win, you're locked in. There won't be any way that you don't make the playoffs. I think I could say that confidently. Have you had a minute to really consider how much pressure maybe that takes off you? I wonder now, knowing you and thinking about you and how you approach your job, whether you feel any less pressure, because you're still in this mode. I think when I talk to you, of I need to prove it. I need to prove more. I need to prove more. I need to win next week. I need to win the next one. I need to win 5. I need to win 10. And maybe you don't feel less pressure being locked in, but just having to be able to go to each race from here on out in the regular season, not worrying about playoffs, will be nice.
Oh, it's definitely nice. It's definitely nice to get the first win this early in the season. With that being said, honestly, I have not thought on playoffs in the last 3 days once. I haven't thought about it because the way I'm thinking on this is, and I mentioned this to Squid, my new cruise ship, and I mentioned to the entire team. I say, hey guys, I feel that I've been an okay driver, a good driver. We've been an okay team. We have spikes. We get a pole position. We win 1 race a year, things like that. And some people may be happy with that. I'm not. I'm not here to be the guy that he's winning 1 race. When we win, we make a big party. That's not the goal. For me, that's not the goal because I know that to be able to contend for a championship, you have to win between 3 to 5 races. That's what you have to do. If you can win between 3 to 5 races, you can actually have a real shot for the championship. You have points, you have confidence, you have momentum, you have a lot of things. And before we hire Matt, I said, Matt, this is what I want to do. Is this what you want to do? Are you committed to do this with me? Because I'm not okay being a good driver. I want to be a great driver. And I want to be in that next step of those group of drivers like William Barron, Kyle Larson, all these guys that when they win, nobody's surprised. They're expecting it.
Gotcha.
That's my goal. That's my goal. And I've been working very hard on this, but it's not easy, man. It's not easy because, as you know, in the Cup Series, every single driver is talented. Every single driver is gifted. You have to build that group around you. You have to build that communication around you. And yeah, maybe the last 2 races they have been super speedways, but man, we got the stage points in the duels. We got stage points in both stages in Daytona. We were running up front in Daytona. We're running up front in Atlanta. The team is different. I'm happy where we're at, and I think that we're making steps in the direction that we were expecting in the offseason.
Man, I appreciate your time today. I know that y'all have a lot going on, a lot of meetings and preparation. Leading up to every race, and we just thank you for giving us a little bit of your time this morning. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on getting yourself locked into those playoffs. I know you're going to go out there and try to win some more races this year. And I got to say, man, your work ethic, your determination, your will, I've seen it. ever since you've came up through the K&N and the Xfinity Series, you have really, really been tenacious to achieve your goals and what you believe you're capable of doing, and it's impressive and fun to watch, bud. And that rubs off on everybody around you in the industry. So we appreciate you. Thank you, Daniel, and good luck going forward, bud.
Thank you so much, amigo. Really, really appreciate all your kind of words coming from you. You know how I appreciate that, and thank you for having me, man. Hopefully, you have to invite me more often with a few more good races.
You bet you, buddy. You win some more races, we'll get you back on here. Thank you, bud. We'll see you.
Thank you, my friend. Bye-bye.
Man, awesome to talk to Daniel. Daniel, such a great guy. I've actually gotten a chance to, I'll say this. So, you get all the drivers together, and you're some of these guys are hard to talk to.
Yeah,
they really are. Daniel's not that way. Every time I see him, he's always happy to see you. One of those kind of people, and I like those kind of people. They're happy to see you when you run into them, and just easy to talk to. He reminds me of in his, where he is in his career, and him talking about wanting to win more races. He reminds me of a young Joey Logano.
I was gonna say Joey Logano. I was gonna guess the same thing.
And I don't know Daniel's not young, but he reminds me of where kind of Joey was when he too was sort of like we know now what he was capable of, but he was struggling to get those results. And Daniel's determination and not give up attitude, and I know I can do this, and I'm going to work hard as I have to work to get it, and I'm going to tell everybody around me that this is what I want to become. Those kind of people make those things eventually happen.
Yeah, I love his mindset.
Yes.
I loved his honesty there. Like he even said, we were an okay team. I was an okay driver. Like this is not the standard that we want to set. Like that surprised me. I feel like
he's a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that about people, man. When they're on it, they get to give an honest assessment. Congratulations to Daniel. That's just a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy finish, and people talk about that. Mike Joy said it was the greatest finish he ever called or ever seen that didn't involve cars crashing across the finish line.
Sure, yeah.
Daniel Suárez will forever be the winner of that moment. The big, the big, the guy that gets the trophy.